Hello, it's Elaine Roberts here. I'm asking a question about fasting, and because we're doing teaching on fasting this weekend, and I'm asking you what do you think about fasting? Do you fast? And what do you think fasting does? So I know some people think fasting is a bit like a hunger strike. It's a bit of a spiritual hunger strike, and we're hunger striking God out until we get what we want. But that's not the real spirit of God behind fasting, because fasting does not change the mind of God. Fasting changes us. And in that process, fasting also releases the perfect will of God into our lives. Fasting is so powerful. So first we see four types of fasting in the Bible. We see the supernatural fast, and that was undertaken by Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. 40 days, that's touching 6 weeks of no food, no liquid. I would recommend that if you're going to do a fast like that, you do it under strict medical supervision. Then there's the normal fast. That's the fast that you and I would normally engage in, where we drink liquids but don't eat food. And then there's the absolute fast that Paul or Saul and Esther engaged in, of 3 days, 3 nights, no food, no liquids. And then there'd be the partial fast, of where you would eliminate certain foods from your diet for a certain period of time. And some people practice that. And it's become quite common, not for religious reasons, but like the 5-2 fasting or the 2-5 fasting. I'm not sure which of those it's called, but people don't eat for 5 days or don't eat for 2 days, and they eat for the rest of the week. But that's not necessarily religious or spiritual fasting. So we see that fasting does not change the mind of God, because in the book of Samuel, when King David's baby is about to die, he goes on a 7-day fast. And Nathaniel the prophet approaches him and confronts him with his sin and tells him, therefore the baby you have will die. And David went straight into fasting before God. And he clearly wanted God to save his baby's life. The baby died after 7 days. And after the baby died, David got up and he worshipped, he washed his face, and he asked for food to be set before him. And his servant said, when the baby was alive, you fasted. And now the baby's dead, you're carrying on like normal. And David said these words. He said, yes, I thought the Lord would relent and be gracious to me. Basically what David is saying is, I thought the Lord would change his mind. The Lord didn't change his mind. God did not want for David an heir that was born of an adulterous and murderous relationship. And what God did was release Solomon. Solomon came after the death of that baby. And that was the perfect will of God, in exceedingly abundantly above all that David had asked for. So when are you going to fast? What are you fasting about? And how will you fast?